Hi and hello, I am Athena Pandin here. Welcome to the control system for the biomedical engineers classroom once again. Today we are going to see the next topic of the first unit, that is the signal flow graph. So we already crossed over what is block diagram reduction, how we can able to use the block diagram reduction rule for determining the transfer function, everything. So today in this topic, in the signal flow graph also, we are determining the transfer function. But it is well better than that of the block diagram reduction. Come, let me see what is signal flow graph and what is the procedure and what is the rules and regulations we need to follow. Come, let me start the class now. Signal flow graph is nothing but, we already know that the system can be represented in the way of blocks. Okay, system can be represented in the way of blocks. The system is nothing but the group of elements combined together. Each and every elements can be represented in the way of the rectangular box that we already know that. Okay, that particular rectangular box and the indication of the summing point and the branch point, all the thing is considered as the block diagram representation, that we know that. Here, what is the disadvantage of this particular block diagram reduction is, once you are applying the rules of the block diagram reduction, it is very difficult to applying the rule, because many of them just got confused, whether if you want to move the branch point ahead of the block or if you want to move the summing point behind of the block, like that, so many confusion is there. So it is very difficult to determine the transfer function using the block diagram representation. So that is what Mr. S.J. Mason is a scientist who introduced this particular signal flow graph. Because of the drawbacks facing by many of the scientists, because the transfer function determination using the representation of the block diagram is a little bit difficult. So that is what this particular S.J. Sampson introduced the signal flow graph. Here in this signal flow graph, there is no need of applying any rules. There is a single formula. We need to apply the parameters over the formula, then you got the transfer function. That is very simple when compared to the block diagram reduction. So that is what this signal flow graph is arising. Okay, we can able to represent the blocks in the block diagram also in the way of graphical representation also. So the way of graphical representation of the system is called as the signal flow graph. Because of the disadvantages of the block diagram reduction, if we want to overcome the disadvantages, we are just come for signal flow graph introduced by Mr. S.J. Mason. Okay, come, let me see what is the elements we are just representing. We know that we can able to represent the elements in the block diagram. That is a small rectangular box and the summing point, branch point, all that. Here also there are so many elements are there. How we can able to represent the elements and the points, branch points and everything we are going to see. See, here each and every arrow mark indication, please remember, each and every arrow mark indication is representing the elements. There, each and every rectangular box indicating the elements. Okay, here in the signal flow graph, every arrow mark indicate the elements. Here we can able to put G1, G2 like that. Okay, here we can able to put G1, G2, G3, G4 like that. So elements can be representing in the way of arrow mark indication, please remember. Okay, then if there is any feedback path there in the block diagram, the parts involving in the feedback path is summing point, branch point, feedback block and the element block. All the things are considered as the feedback block. Here we can able to, more importantly, feedback is nothing but the loop. Okay, here this is the feedback representation. Please remember, what is the feedback definition is? It is nothing but start from one point and end towards the same point. That is considered as the loop. All the loop are considered as the feedback. Here, it starts from one point and end towards the same point. So it is considered as the loop. Here, the indication of summing point, positive or negative, all the thing is indicated in the in front of the H itself. Here, there is no sign indication, so it is the positive plus H1. Here it is also considered as a loop because it starts from one point, it is moving like this and end towards the same point. So it is also considered as the loop, so it is also a feedback. Here the indication of sign, there is no need of indication of summing point and not only. In front of the feedback elements itself, the sign indication represent whether it is a positive or negative. Okay, here minus H2 representing. So this is the feedback loop. Okay, then individual loop, non-touching loop. That is also very important. The individual loop is nothing but if the loop is present individually like this, and if the loop is present individually like this, that is called as the individual loop. Non-touching loop is nothing but, for example, here one loop is there. Here one loop is there. It may be a minus H3 or what. Okay, consider this is also a one loop, because why it is loop? It is starts from one point and then towards the same point. This is also loop. This is also loop. This is also loop. Individual loop is nothing but this is one individual loop. This is one individual loop, and this is also one individual loop. Non-touching loop is nothing but the loop that is not touching the other loops. Here, these two loops are touchable. These loops and these loops are touchable in this point. Okay, so this is not a non-touching loop. Here, there is no touching of any loops. Here, totally we have three loops. The two loops are touchable. The remaining loop is not touchable with any of these things. Okay, that is what this is considered as the non-touching loop. The loop that is not touched with any other loop. That is called as the non-touching loop. Okay, so please remember the elements representation, feedback representation, and the loops. Of course, you already know that the forward path. It starts from the input and ending towards the output. That is called as the forward path. So this is the basic introduction. You need to remember these parts and everything. Okay. See, the variable notations are also very important. So some of the important variable notation is capital T, capital P suffix K, del, that is determinant, del K. So what is T? Of course, we know that this is the signal flow graph especially for determining the transfer function of the system. So the T determines the transfer function of the system. So T is the representation of transfer function. What is P? Always P represents the forward path gain. Forward path gain in the sense, for example, this is a forward path G1, G2, G3. This is the forward path. How this particular gain can be calculated is, here P is equal to G1, G2, G3. If you multiply all this thing, that is the gain. So this kind of forward path gain can be represented in the way of P. Okay. What is this particular suffix K is, if in case we have 2 or 3 forward paths, don't think that it is a loop, it is a forward path because it starts from the input and end towards the output. So here 3 forward paths are there. This is one forward path, this is second forward path, and this is third forward path. We can able to represent it as G4 and G5 here. So here 3 forward path representation is required. So that is what? P1, P2 and P3. Okay, here this particular forward path can be represented in the way of P suffix 1. This particular G1, G4 and G3. G1, G4 and G3. It is represented as the second forward path. Here it is the. And the third forward path G1, G5. G1, G5. So because of the variation we need to show from the each and every forward path gain, we are putting suffix K. Okay, so P1, P2, P3 because of we are having 3 forward paths. How many forward paths are there? You need to put the suffixes 1, 2, 3 like that. Okay, so this is the representation of forward path gain. Okay, P1 represent first forward path gain. P2 represent second forward path gain. P3 represents third forward path gain. Okay, the individual K is also having some of the representation. The individual K represents, there is no suffix K, individual K variable represents the number of forward paths, total number of forward paths. Okay, here 3 forward paths are there. So K is equal to 3. This also you need to remember. Okay, P suffix K is entirely different. P suffix K is nothing but forward path gain. Individual K is nothing but how many forward paths, not again how many forward paths, the count 1, 2, 3. Okay, that is what K. The next important variable is del. Del is a determinant. We need to determine the determinant of the system. Here we have the formula 1 minus sum of individual loop gain plus sum of non-touching loop gain. What is that individual loop gain? Of course, you know that individual loop is look like, I already told you. For example, this is G1, this is G2, and this is G3, and this is considered as one loop, and this is considered as another loop. For example, individual loop gain, how we can able to calculate? Here we have the two loops. Two loops are individual. This is one individual and this is also an individual loop. Okay, individual loop gain calculation is P11 because it have two different loops. Okay, that is what I am just indicating P11, P12. Why I am not putting only P1, P2? Because P1 we already substituted in the forward path gain calculation. That is what I am just putting two suffix number. That is P11 and P12. So here P11 is nothing but the first individual loop gain. The loop gain calculation is nothing but multiply this minus G1 minus H1 and G2. So minus G2 H1. This is the loop gain. And this individual loop gain, that is P12 is minus G3 H2. This is the loop gain calculation. So here we have the two loop individual loop. So sum of two loop is nothing but P11 plus P12. So instead of this particular thing, P11 plus P12 we can able to put. Okay, this is the calculation of sum of individual loop. So the next is a pair of non-touching loop gain. Here this is not touchable. Just take an example of one loop, reference is one loop, and which are all the loop that is not touching this loop. That is the calculation of sum of a pair of non-touching loop. Here we need to take two loops because a pair of loop indicate this kind of. You just take a individual loop gain here and individual loop gain here. Just take a suffix as P21, then calculate gain 1 here and calculate gain 2 here. The multiplication of these two loop gain is considered as the sum of individual loop gain. So if you are putting all this thing, then we can able to calculate the value of del. Okay, so this is the third variable you need to calculate. Then the fourth variable you need to calculate is del k. Del k is nothing but the loop that is not touching the kth forward path. For example, the value of k, we know that the k is the total number of forward path there. For example, the particular system have 3 forward paths. So the k value is 3. So we are supposed to calculate del 1, del 2 and del 3. Please remember. So del 1 indicates the loop which is not touching the first forward path. Which are the forward path you are choosing as a first forward path. That first forward path, that loop is not touching in that first forward path is nothing but the del 1. Del 2, the loop that is not touching the second forward path. Del 3, the loop that is not touching the third forward path. You just please remember, once you go for sum, then these steps are very comfortable for you. Just please remember, try to remember. So this del k is also very important, the fourth variable. So t, pk, del and del k. So all the 4 important variable you need to note. Because as I already told you, S.J. Mason introduced one formula. That particular one formula is enough for calculating the transfer function. See, the formula is capital T is equal to 1 by del summation k del k pk. Please remember, this is the transfer function formula introduced by Mr. S.J. Mason. Rather, we are applying the block diagram reduction rule and everything. Instead of that, we are substituting all the parameter here. We are easily calculating the transfer function. Here, the del value, we have the formula. In the previous step, we calculated. K represent, the summation of K represent that, you know that, 1, 2, 3 like that. Then this del, we know that. Then P is a forward path. So for example, k is equal to 3. K is nothing but number of forward path. If in case the particular given system is having 3 forward path, that is what k is equal to 3. Then how we can able to represent here in the system? Capital T is equal to 1 by del summation 3 into del 3 P3. how we can able to write this? For summation indication, we can able to write as capital 1 by del into del 1 P1 plus del 2 P2 plus del 3 P3. This is the calculation we need. Okay, this 3 represents how we can able to split this equation. This summation can be written in the way of del 1 P1, del 2 P2, del 3 P3. If in case k is equal to 4, then we add del 4 P4. Okay, we know that the formula, that is a separate formula for the del. We know that what is del 1, del 2, del 3. That is, del 1 is nothing but the loop that is not touching the first forward path. Del 2 is nothing but the loop that is not touching the second forward path as like as a third loop. Okay, then P1, P2, P3 is nothing but the forward path gain. That is, P1 is the first forward path gain, P2 is the second forward path gain, P3 is the third forward path gain. Then the individual loop gain, a pair of individual loop gain, all the things come in this formula. So, once you are calculating all the variables successfully, then we need to substitute all the things here. Then it is very comfortable for you to determining the transfer function. Though no need of applying any block diagram reduction rule and whatever it may be. So, this is the easy way to calculating the transfer function. Okay, so it got many advantages. The time reduced and the accuracy is excellent, because in the block diagram reduction tool there are so many disadvantages we already discussed about. What is the rule we need to suppose to use for that, whether you are supposed to use the branch point rule or summing point rule, like that the confusion everyone is arised. So for that, removing that kind of confusion, we are supposed to use a simple formula. T is equal to 1 by del in the summation k del k pk. So we are just hold this topic today. So in the introduction class of the signal flow graph, I just say what is signal flow graph and what is the variable, you know that, and what is the formula used. In the next class, I am going to say what is the procedure to solve the system. Okay, what is the procedure to solve the system and how we can able to calculate this transfer function. Okay, thank you very much.